Welcome, friends and future colleagues, to a new and reinvented Law Guest. You have come to the most interesting legal platform for talk shows and more. We give you candid talks with people who you look up to. So, I'm your host for today, Muskan Naran. I'm a second year law student from DY Patil University. We have with us today Debosmita Nandy ma'am. She is an in-house legal counsel at ITC Limited, and she has an experience of 11 plus years in diverse fields. She is also a gold medalist from her university. You might have known her as the author of the 5thingschecklist.com, where she writes on various issues on law and being a lawyer. So, ma'am, I'm really glad to have you on my own show today. I've been following you for so long on LinkedIn, and it's so exciting to see you on my own show.
I'm also happy to be here. Thank you, Muskan, for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to the talk.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, I always want to start with the question that why did you decide to choose law?
Well, I took this decision many years ago. Okay, uh, so if you ask me, when I was growing up, the it career choice for engineering and medicine.
Right,
If you have not cracked JEE, then you have failed in life. Like, there's
right,
nothing that can be said about you. So with that mindset, I remember I was in, and I was also following that path. I was preparing for medicine,
right,
and I had also gotten those brilliant tutorials, those really thick books and all from
right,
class 9 onwards. You get. So I was like all set. I wasn't fond of maths, but I was fond of biology. So I thought, yes, medicine is my field. That's what I'm going to do.
right,
I remember in class 9, I first read To Kill a Mockingbird,
mhm,
and that somehow left an impression on me. And I thought, wow, to be a lawyer like Atticus Finch is so cool. I think I want to do that. So that's how, this thought first came in my mind. I
right,
also wanted to do a lot of other things, right? I also wanted to join the army. Uh, so fast forward to class 11, when I was like in the thick of everything, the whole career decisions and studying and
right,
preparation for GE and all of that was happening.
mhm,
And I was talking to a friend of mine who was senior to me. She was 2 years senior to me, and she was preparing for law entrance for NLS and other colleges. She
okay,
first told me about the national law schools,
mhm,
and I was like, "Oh, that's something new." And we were not so internet savvy. All our information came from newspapers. There was one
right,
career newspaper. My God, do you think I'm talking about some like few years ago, but it seems like a different era?
right,
Yeah.
wow,
So yeah, I mean, we would not Google stuff and all. So she told me, and then I went to cyber cafe to check
mhm,
it out. So she told me names and all. So I went to cyber cafe, checked out NLS. At
right,
that point, I was only looking at NLS. I didn't have any idea about anything else because she told me NLS. I went and checked NLS,
right,
and I came and I looked at the website, a very nice campus, and the prospect of living in Bangalore by
right,
myself. All of that was very enticing, and the fact, I mean, so honestly, it was no altruistic motive that I want to do good for society and stuff like that. Nothing. I thought law is a different career. It's something else apart from medicine and engineering. I want to do that. So it was like I want to take the road less traveled,
right,
and somehow that has remained the focus of my life. If I look back and think, but I have always tried to take the road less traveled.
mhm,
So I told my parents, and my father didn't speak to me for 3 days. He's like, uh, uh, that's not happening. Okay, forget about it. And I was
wow,
sulking. My mom didn't know what to do.
mhm,
So in this scenario, I was still sulking after 3 days, and I was just wondering what to do about it, because your father says something, you listen to it, right? There's
right,
no going against it.
mhm,
It just so happened my father had a colleague whose son was going to NUJS,
okay,
and he was part of the team from NUJS which won the Vienna Moot, the first Indian team which won the Vienna Moot. He was
okay,
part of, and that was from NUJS, and
wow,
he was part of that team. So I think, people would have come and congratulated his colleague, and everybody was talking about it. So my father got curious and he
Right.
spoke to him, and he was told about NUJS and how it's a very nice college, and I mean, he could see, like, see, he had somebody. So for my father and my parents,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know the career law, right? I mean, they understand engineering, they didn't understand this. They only thought the traditional career of law.
Right. Right.
Here he had an exposure, he understood, and so he came back from office and he told me, uh, NNS, yes, but NU just, I'm like,
Arre.
yeah, uh, trust me to this date. I mean, I'm pretty sure my father would have come around ultimately, but I have to thank, that senior of mine who
Right.
unknowingly kind of paved the way for me. Uh,
Right.
so, so my parents told me, you do both, like you give JE, you give law entrance,
Mm-hmm.
have your options open, so you choose. After, if you get through everything, it's your choice.
Right.
So I tried doing that. I was trying to prepare for law entrance, and at that point in time, we had different colleges and different exams. So I had to prepare for
Right.
NLS, for NJS, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So and NUJS exam happened in January of the year I was to give my class 12. So it happened even before my boards,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and anyways happened after my boards. So
Mm-hmm.
and I remember the forms were quite expensive, like they were $1,000 a form, and if you had to take forms of each college,
Right.
it adds up, right?
Right.
So I have devised a strategy that NUJS result will come out before. So if I don't get NUJS, then I'll go ahead and kind of apply to NASA and the other
Right.
places because I didn't want to spend money on the form. Uh, and also what happened towards the end of class 12, I told my parents I can't do this both thing. It's taxing preparing for JE
Mm-hmm.
and for
Right.
law entrance. You let me give up JE, and it took a lot of courage on their part and my part too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was very unknown territory,
Right.
law.
Right.
I was prepared, and there was only Universal's Guide to LLB Entrance. I remember I had one book. That's it, like that book. That gave me all the material. I didn't go to this law school tutorial, and I didn't know. I didn't know about them that they were. I know there was prime coaching, and I went to find out that they were very expensive, and I'm like, so
Right.
I don't know why I'm saying expensive because I knew it is my choice, so I was trying to cut cost. I didn't want my parents to feel
Oh,
burdened because I already
okay.
wasted the whole brilliant tutorials, money I wasted, lots of other stuff, which they'd gotten because I was thinking of going for JE, but so I was very cost conscious because it was playing in my mind that I'm choosing this, so
Mm-hmm.
I have to hustle. I don't want to do coaching, and there was no time. Trust me, with
Mm-hmm.
the class 12, I was in science stream, right? So
Right.
juggle
Yeah.
that, it was not possible. So I remember NUJS uh, test happened, and I was in love with the campus. It's so beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
when I went to test, I told my mom that I want to come and study here. Like it was. I think I was so earnest in my wish making that it
Mm-hmm.
came true.
Wow.
I still remember. Uh, the NHS result was out on the internet. Again, I didn't have internet and computer at
Right.
home,
Right.
so my father was in office. He told my colleague, "Can you ask your son to find out?" So he asked him. So he went to that. There was this physical, that notice board. My chart
Right.
was there. He saw and he communicated to his father, and his father told my father. He called me from office to tell me, "Yes, you were through your rank."
Wow.
56, all India 50. I still remember, like that was such a momentous day in my life. I think it changed
Right.
everything. And I had chemistry boards exam next day. So yeah, and uh, so I went to school next day for my. I
Mm-hmm.
was sitting for IC class 12 boards,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and told my teachers, and they were so happy. Like
Right.
we're in the middle of boards, and here somebody who's gotten through a college. Like that never happens, right? That was incredibly awesome feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, and of course I sat for endless, and I was in the wait list, but of course uh, I am so happy that uh, that one book happened in my life. From
Right.
there, I don't know. And it's like you connect the dots later, and when it
Right.
happens, you don't know.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how I ended up doing law.
Right, that is so great. So, ma'am, do you think that thinking back, do you think that coming across law in this way has been more helpful to you than the standard conventional way that everybody goes through? Like, if you had not taken science and you had taken arts, or maybe you were preparing for it beforehand, would you think that it might make an effect on your future?
Mm, I don't know honestly because uh see the thing is if I had known about the entrances or everything else, I don't know, I
Mhm.
might have given more focus, more attention, but the
Mhm.
result would have been the same, right? I mean,
Right.
what else could have been? So I think what I did, I remember I would study for my class stuff like science subjects throughout the day,
Mhm.
and post evening, say post dinner, I would sit with my law entrance books.
Okay.
uh,
Wow.
it was enough for me because I was so focused. I was so willing to go the extra mile for it.
Mhm.
It worked out. Um, it just honestly I don't know what would have happened. This is worked the way I did, so I'm happy it did.
Right. So, mom, let's talk about the five things checklist. So, were you always a writer, and how did you just come up with the idea of, doing something so different than everybody else writing?
Um, to answer your question, I was always a writer, uh, and not a legal writer, or I mean, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I was always writing ever since I was a child.
Right.
I was writing short fiction. I was publishing them in my school magazines and all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I discovered blogging when long back. It was 2006. I was in law school, and
Mm-hmm.
I started blogging. It was big then, huh? It's just started Blogspot,
Right.
and it was very, very fashionable to blog about your personal life and what's happening and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I started blogging then, and again in 2009 I started on the blog. So that was 2009. That era was the era of indie blogger, where it's a
Right.
community of blogging,
Mm-hmm.
and you meet up. Uh, and I remember I used to take part in competitions. There were blogging competitions. I
Wow.
would take part and win, and it was great. I just love. I fondly remember that blog, those days. It was
Mm-hmm.
so good to be able to write short stories and put up on the
Mm-hmm.
blog. And so I was doing that. Now slowly I wanted to publish my short stories, so
Right.
I stopped putting publishing them on the blog. So I
Mm-hmm.
focused more on publishing, and three of my short stories have been published in three different anthologies.
Mm-hmm.
One was by
Wow.
Rupa Publishers. Yeah, and it was also a contest. It was I don't know if you remember, there was a time when they came up with contests, love, write a short story on love and send it and
Wow.
all of that.
Okay.
So yeah, so Anuja Chauhan was the judge, and she gave me second prize. I was over the moon. So
Right.
it was published, yeah, and another one came out by Readomania. So I am into writing fiction big time. So I'm also writing my novel. It's a work in progress for many years now because it takes time. Novel is like a it's like marriage, and short story is like a affair, right? You can just sit down, write it, and get done with it. Novel is like it's with you the entire life. So yeah,
Right.
the novel is. So I'm and I also did a creative writing workshop, 2 weeks residential in Pondicherry. So I
Okay.
am really, really serious about my writing, uh, and I'm always looking to improve my art and write more and stuff like that. So
Right.
so this five things checklist kind of happened because it's a lockdown product, to be very honest. If lockdown hadn't happened, five things checklist wouldn't have happened because I would have been busy in my life, with my my family, my office work, everything else, right? So when the lockdown happened, it kind of threw everyone off. It threw me off very, very badly because I thought I'm the kind of person who can't be at home, who needs to go to office, who needs to go out. But of course, we couldn't, and we were stuck, and this was happening around us. So I remember in my condominium, they had a rule that you can't even go out in the society, like you can't get out of your house. So it was very, very, like you would feel really claustrophobic sitting at home all day. So I started going to the terrace, for a walk. That was my hack. That okay, I needed some fresh air.
Right.
So I would do that every morning, early morning. I'd go up at 5 o'clock or something and have like a
Mm.
half an hour, 45 minutes walk in the terrace, and that's the time you kind of think, like let your thoughts wander,
Right.
wander, and you kind of and then I suddenly thought about that. Maybe I can start blogging again, and this time I want to write about law because that's a topic that's of course that's my everyday life, and
Right. Mm.
I don't want to write about. I write legal articles because everybody's doing that. So I wanted to write about practical issues. I want to write about contract drafting. So over the years, I've interacted with students, and I remember earlier than this in the LinkedIn, I had my open to mentor tab on, and people would
Okay.
send me questions and would want to. So in that interactions, I realized that it needs to be like I don't know everything, but I know something more than other people, and I can kind of talk right about it. So basically students today are at the same stage where we were. We have
Right.
gone through the grind, and the formal legal education hasn't moved on. They're still there. It's the same old judgment, same old way of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, no point blaming them because they can't do anything about it. It's a syllabus. They have to do it like
Right.
like that. So, so I thought, and I remember my struggles when I first joined the work. I remember my struggles. I didn't know anything. I had to really, really, learn through my mistakes. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe I can write and tell the students, about what they can expect, what they can do, and what is there to actually learn when you before you join a workplace.
Right.
That's my focus. So I'm
Mm.
kind of trying to bridge the gap between what you are learning in a law
Law
school
school.
and
Mhm.
what you need to know in your workplace, and kind of just filling in the
Right.
gaps a little bit here and there. Yeah. So that's what.
Right. Actually, it's a very noble thing that you're doing because when it comes to law students, I feel we are all really confused. We are in this hurdle that we are trying to cross a lot of hurdles that come ahead, but then you don't actually know what's going to happen when you actually enter the field of law and whatever area you choose. So I think having a mentor or somebody you can at least reach out to and ask them questions about stuff, I think it's really amazing. So, ma'am, what is
Yeah.
the process of writing a blog? Whenever you're starting to write something, like, is it something that a thought comes in your head and then you put it down or something?
No. I'd be lying if I say that I sit down and I type on my keyboard and a blog post comes up. Not at all. Not at all.
Mm.
Uh, to be honest, I'm also learning this. When I started, I thought, yes, I'll sit down, type out a blog post, and put it up. That's it. But there's a lot more to that. If you want your blog to grow, if you want your blog to be read by more people, because that's what you want, right? I mean, why am I sitting and writing articles and spending my time for it? Because I want more people to read it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to grow it. I want all the law students to know that there is a resource for me if I want to, you know about anything. So it started more as a focus on contract drafting because I think that's a skill every lawyer needs, whether you're joining a law firm or a company or independent chamber. Contract drafting comes handy. So it started with that focus, and then it kind of evolved into all the other categories that there is. So I've also learned, my learning curve has been really, really steep. I'm learning and learning so many things.
Right.
So yes, I have of course studied a bit of ACO and understand how it happens.
Mhm.
Usually I have a broad idea about a topic, so I know if it's contract drafting, then this is the topic I want to say. Recently, I put up a post on definitions, so I wanted to talk about definitions and interpretation clause and how to draft it.
Mhm.
So I sometimes kind of go to Google Suggest. It's a tool by Neil Patel. So I go there and I type out the topic that I'm thinking, and it kind of gives me an idea whether there are articles on it, or whether it's a easy keyword or stuff like this. It gives me an idea as to how to position it.
Mhm.
And so from there I get an idea as to how to structure it. So I kind of in my paper and pen I write down the headings, and this is so I of course write down the five points which I would, because that's the main thing, that's the main part of the article. So 5 points I put out, and then I kind of add some more structure. So I have a fair bit of an idea as to how it will go before I start writing.
Okay.
And then I kind of go write it, and I came to know of a very interesting tool recently, which is called Co-Schedule Headline Analyzer. So if
Mhm.
there are law students who want to write blog posts, they can totally use this. So I go and put my heading in that tool, and they analyze and tell me how, whether the headline is good enough
Okay.
or catchy enough.
Mhm.
So I do that, and I kind of use some change. This is like a recent learnings that I have. So I
Right.
do that,
Mhm.
and then I put it up on my WordPress, and I do a SEO check. I use a tool called Yoast on the WordPress, and I do an SEO check and see that with my keywords it's fine, overall. Then
Mhm.
I use Canva to design some nice graphics and some photos to make it look nice.
Right.
And yep, once that's all that is over, then I publish it. So yeah, it takes a bit of it takes some hours. Yeah.
Right. So you have your whole process, but do you actually, think about that? Okay, this post is going to go on this day and everything. Like, do you structure it as such that you want
I
to be very consistent?
I would like to honestly publish one post every week.
Mhm.
That would make it 4 posts a month, but
Right.
sometimes it doesn't happen. If I'm able to hit 3 posts, I'm happy.
Right. So, what is the process of writing things on LinkedIn? I came across a very great post that you wrote, and I just it touched me so much, and I wanted to ask you a question on that too. That you said that being a mother, you loved that the lockdown happened because you got to connect with your daughter better. So, I think like, what does it like being a lawyer, being a person who's a working professional, or a person who has such a hectic schedule and being a mother. So how does it complement each other and how do you like, manage stuff?
See, to be honest, all my roles can come and go, but the fact that I'm a mother will always remain constant. So,
Right.
post motherhood, I have realized that my job is there today, not there tomorrow. I can stop writing for my blog. I need not post on LinkedIn. Those are just secondary, but being a mother comes first. So I prioritize her
Mhm.
uh, all the time. Of course, it's a balance. Like when she wakes up, say at around 7:30 till 9 o'clock, till we have breakfast, I
Mhm.
give time to her exclusively. I try to, and and then of course she knows that Mama will go to office, so she knows there's a room where
Mhm.
I'll go and lock the door, and that's
Right.
Mama office. So yeah, so and then again, sometime in the middle of the day when we're having lunch and all, and I have to put her to nap. She doesn't sleep otherwise.
Right.
So before lockdown happened, she was going to a daycare, and she had developed some nice self habits, independent habits, but all of them have gone for a toss. Now she wants mama for everything.
Right.
I guess, anyway, that was bound to happen. So I spent some time, put her down for a nap, and then again I get for my work. And she's and when she wakes up, she's fine. There. Thankfully, this lockdown, her grandparents have been with us, so they are there. She has a nanny, so people are there. So
Mhm.
she's kind of engaged. And then in the evening again, I when my work is done, I get out. So and that's how I have structured. So what I did was I created the routine for myself. Initially, in the initial 1 2 weeks, it was getting really problematic. It was all like she would cling to me because she thought uh, there are 2 days in a week when mama is there at home. So this 2 days is like endlessly stretching. So she would
Right.
not let me go at all, and I was finding it very difficult to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I set my routine for myself, so kids love routine. They understand routine. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
when set a routine for myself that uh, when she wakes up, I'm just doing with this with her, and then she has a breakfast and all with us, and then I will take a bath and start my day. Okay, it's the I basically conditioned that I have to get ready, like I would get ready to go out to office. I would get ready
Ah,
and
okay.
get into my room where I work. And because you're at home, I think a lot of focused work happens, so I'm able to finish stuff more quickly. In office, you kind of know, yes, I'm in office. There's some
Right.
tea break happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's some meetings take forever in office. When it's face to face. But here on a Zoom and all, people are quick because they know they have to get on with stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meeting time has really gone down, so that has opened up a lot of time for everybody else. So
Right.
yeah, and so once I set a routine for myself, she understood and she's very okay with the routine that I have set. So
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, Sundays exclusively with her, and I also of course get some blog work done and some social media work done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's how I had to, because I have so many roles to play.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I had to kind of bucket my time into this. In fact, it's a time hack that I used.
Mm-hmm.
I put everything in my Google Calendar, like right from wake up till this. So
Okay.
everything is in Google Calendar.
Right.
Now I don't need to. So now I know what is coming after what. But
Right.
initially, just for that, just the notification reminding me, yes, now it's time for this. It
Mm-hmm.
helped me. It helped me get into
Right.
a groove.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't need it, but it's there. So
Right.
that's
You're
what.
using technology in a very nice way. Everything that you're using is actually helping you, get ahead. So, ma'am,
Yes, yes.
so ma'am, if you like, it's gonna be a thoda personal question, but still, like I have being a female, I have this fear that uh, is it possible for a female to make her own space in a corporate world? Like you are in the corporate world and you have to make your own space. You have to, of course, women have all around the world, all around India, they are in the leader position. But still, it's somehow whenever you're attending webinars, you hear questions that लड़कियों को क्रिमिनल के केसेस नहीं देते हैं क्योंकि वो सोचते हैं कि ज्यादा इमोशनल होती है लड़के तो मे बी शी वोंट बी एबल टू हैंडल इट लाइक आई हैव हर्ड सच embarrassing remarks about girls in webinars and everything. But so this fear is inside me that maybe people won't respect me as much as they would, a man. So, ma'am, what is your opinion about females being in the corporate world or being professionals and everything? Like, how does the corporate world treat them?
Um, uh, to answer your question, the corporate world mm, has evolved quite a bit. Uh, it wherever I have worked, because I really don't know about anywhere else, so I can't really talk about that, right? Wherever I have worked and from what I have seen,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's much better. It is you beyond a point. Okay, so initially people may look at you as a woman, people may look at you as a junior.
Mm-hmm.
Not only woman, you have other hurdle of being a junior lawyer, and being a
Right.
junior lawyer is worse than being a woman, to be honest. So you have a lot of hurdles, but once you have uh, shown everybody that you can do a good job. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, women, not only women. I think every young lawyer has to put in a lot of hard work,
Mm-hmm.
work really hard. That's why people say that the initial years are so tough, because you have constantly have to put in so much hard work. And
Right.
once you've set that, so once you've established yourself, once you've established that you are good,
Mm-hmm.
people don't remember that you were a woman or anything else or a junior. That's now. So I have seen that work speaks. work speaks completely.
Mhm.
Yes, women do face certain situations where they might feel that they are being uh, what do I say, discriminated against because they're a woman. Um, but you just have to remember that that's the case everywhere.
Mhm.
How you respond to that scenario, how you react to that scenario is what will determine the future cost, right? So before I joined ITC, I was working in a litigation team in Khaitan and Company.
Mhm.
I had to attend conferences at all possible hours,
Mhm.
late night conferences, and I'm very glad that none of them really kind of looked at me, acha, you how will you do it? They said 10 p.m. conference, meaning 10 p.m. conference, and
Mhm.
I ensured that I had I had a way around it. So I would attend the conference, and my boss was very nice. He would have his car drop me home. He would get
Mhm.
dropped first, and then he'll send his car to drop me. So people kind of support.
Right.
Even if you have to face those kind of scenarios, people support you.
Mhm.
And so it's like I think being a junior is more difficult than being a woman.
Right.
Regarding criminal case and criminal lawyers, I interned with a criminal lawyer, female criminal lawyer, in a district court.
Right.
And by God, I think women can kick ass everywhere. So whoever
Right.
thinks criminal cases are not for women,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. That's you just women can do everything. So we women have to believe it. I know men sometimes don't believe it, but we women have to believe it, and we have to show. And then slowly
Exactly.
they will believe it too, right?
Right, exactly. Ma'am, stretching this question a little bit, but I've heard from a lot of people that whenever you go into corporates, they give you like a glass ceiling. They tell you that you can reach higher, you can go higher up the ladder, you can climb the ladder, but they will always give you a ceiling that okay, this is your ceiling and you can't go further than that. They just give you the hope that you can. So, ma'am, also that being like, let's say you are a woman, you're a single woman who has come into an office, but then having roles like being a wife or being a part of a big family or having a kid, then things because your personal life, your roles have changed, so people might start taking you not seriously, or they might start being like, now she's a mother, now she might not be able to give time to this project, or like they start assuming things about that. So isn't it is
Yeah.
was that a hurdle that you had to cross for yourself?
See, it is. I mean, I don't have to answer this because it is a given fact. You look at the uh, CEOs of companies, you look at the board of
Mm.
companies. Where are the women? So it's a very known fact that women when they join, like this pyramid, like all women men equal. As it goes up, women vanish. Okay, there can
Right.
be many reasons about that. It's unfair to generalize. And there are some nice books on this, right? On Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In and Apurva Purohit's A Lady or Not a Man. And there's some nice books on this topic as to how you can be a woman and be a boss.
Mhm.
Uh, it's see the first hurdle that women face is at home, not in office. To be very honest, right? uh, Now that women have come into workforce, you are expected to, of course, do work as well as a man, but
Mhm.
you're also expected to do the work of a woman in the house. So you
Right.
are doing two full-time jobs.
Mhm.
That's the beginning. That's where it begins. You're doing two full-time jobs. You don't have the luxury. In fact, I remember listening to this talk by Indra Nui, where she said that she told her mother that I've been made CEO of PepsiCo, and her
Mhm.
mother responded, "Oh, that's great. By the way, there is no milk in the house. Please go get it."
Oh,
And
wow.
she said, "Why didn't you ask like her husband? Why didn't you ask him to get it?" Oh,
Right.
but he came home tired from office. So yeah, that's that's the conditioning, and no point blaming other women, no point blaming other men, no point blaming others. It is just how the way society is conditioned. What can you do about it, right? I mean, we can whine, we can complain. Beyond the point, we have to live with the fact and do the best that we can do with it, right?
Right.
So once that happens, and I think motherhood changes. Motherhood is a time when
Hmm.
most of the women, they're unable to juggle. It's a very difficult task to leave your baby at home or leave your baby at daycare and go to office. My daughter started going to daycare when she was 10 months old.
Wow.
It broke my heart, but
Right.
I mean, I had 7 months of maternity. Honestly, this 6 months maternity leave is a boon. uh, and I'm ever so thankful that and I got that in my life. But even when I was going to office after that, even
Mhm.
6 months, baby is a small baby, right? So I had a 7 month maternity, 1 month of earned leave I combined and took for that year. So because I didn't take any leave in my pregnancy, like I went to office till like last week. So that's
Right.
how I did. So it always breaks your heart, and that's when women start thinking that am I missing out on too much? Am I putting my career, giving my career too much of an importance?
Mhm.
Uh, and believe me, if somebody takes the call that I want to be with my baby more than I want to go to office, it's
Mhm.
perfectly fine because
Mhm.
uh, bringing up a child is a third full-time job that a woman has to do.
Right. Right.
Yes, so everything else, the house, your
Mhm.
office, your baby, they're all full-time jobs because there was a time when the woman will do only one of them, right? Or
Right.
two of them, baby and home.
Mhm.
But women also have, you know, so I remember I was very young then. I had just gotten married and I attended a networking event for women, professional women. Uh, I was new in Gurgaon, so it was my way of trying to meet some new people.
Right.
Uh, so I met, so I was paired up with one senior lady, and I asked her this question that I'm newly married now and I don't have responsibility, so I can work as much and all of that. But when you have a child, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
Right.
She told me something which I remember till date, and very sound practical advice.
Mhm.
She's like, I don't try to be perfect. I outsource. I outsource, and how? Uh, and I build systems.
Mhm.
So so she's like, so I don't go to the grocery store to buy grocery. I order online. And this was some years back when big basket was not so big, huh?
Mhm.
So people would still go to like the grocery stores and this thing.
Mhm.
Actually, it saves time. And I have a relationship with my neighborhood kirana. I call him and he delivers. So
Mhm.
her point is, so basically what happens is when you are juggling so many roles for women, you have to value time like you value gold. Your
Right.
time is gold. Whatever time you are not, you know, utilizing either for your child or something, your office, something,
Mhm.
you outsource. How outsource and how?
Right.
So I've always outsourced household chores.
Mhm.
So I basically I outsource. I build support systems around me. My parents, my in-laws have been really supportive.
Mhm.
They've always been around me because I really, I mean, I wanted to continue with my job. There was no
Mhm.
two questions about it. So I kind of built these systems around me. I delegated, I outsourced, and
Mhm.
I just valued my time like gold.
Right.
And that's what I had to do.
That's wonderful, ma'am. So the more number of times that we are talking about the reality, I feel that it is making a change, because even if we are not able, we are suffering with these problems with our generation, we are suffering. But the other generation that is coming around, at least they know that we are trying really hard to understand what the reality is and we are working to change it. So just to make everybody aware of these situations, that what actually a person goes through who's practically in this field. So that is why I was asking this question. So what do you enjoy about your work?
So number one, yes, meeting people. Number two, I really like writing, as I said, and writing anything is really excites me, even if it's a legal notice or something like that.
Mm.
So I think I remember when I first started working, and I found pleadings very difficult. You know, drafting anything. It didn't come natural to me because you have to use certain kind of words, and you have to look at a certain kind of flow, and
Right.
I found it very difficult.
Mm.
I remember I a boss of mine. So I attempted drafting an SLP, and I took it to him, and it he said, "Maza nahi aa raha." And that was my first assignment with him, and I was so embarrassed but I was sitting and waiting for him to give me something more. And
Mm.
he said, "Maza nahi aa raha hai." So
Right.
change it so that maza aa jaye. And I'm wondering, what kind of feedback is that? Then he told me something which then changed the way I view drafting. He said that you are an author, so write it like a story.
Mm.
Uh, and I had that aha moment, right? And I'm like, here I was trying to draft, I would take a format and I would kind of try to use similar language so that it's proper and all. And in the whole of it, I wasn't enjoying the process.
Mm.
Once it was said that draft like make it a story, because every legal case is a story. When you drafting a pleading, it's all about what happened and what is your case against him, right? That's as simple as that.
Mm.
So once I realized that, and I applied my creative writing process into my drafting process, I have started enjoying it. And um, contract, I use the technique everywhere. Contracts, in
Mm.
legal notices, I think the most dry possible assignment you can have, legal notice or response to a legal notice. But I like sitting down with all the papers and kind of constructing a story around it.
Mm.
Uh, so I'm known for writing pages and pages of the story. So yeah, so that's what I really enjoy. To be able to kind of write stories in part of my
Mm.
draftings and all that.
Right. Okay. So, ma'am, you said that you have taken a road always that is less taken. So,
Mhm.
was choosing corporate a part of it, and like, what do you mean by saying that you always have chosen the way that is
Yeah,
less taken?
they only offer some PPOs and all, and so I had no other choice. So I sat for the recruitment process, and Khetan was the first to offer, and I had to take it because we had a no hold on policy.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it, and I went and joined litigation. And in my circle, or where I was, litigation and law firm was not something people really looked at. Everybody was aiming for the corporate practices and the law firms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and so from there, I jumped into in-house, and that was again something. People who were in my position, they were not considering. They were like, why will I even want to join a company where I know court is where all the action is. That's the whole thought process, right?
Right.
But I make the jump, make the switch, and yes, it has been amazing. So it just at that point in time, I was not really doing it consciously, thinking I want to take the road less traveled, but it just so turned out to be like that in hindsight.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, has corporate always been the calling for you? Didn't you ever think of going into litigation, which is like the
Um, no, I never thought of going into litigation. I never thought of litigation teams in a law firm.
Mhm.
As for all my peers, I was simply focused on uh, law firm job. Do you have NLU? This is what is happening around you. Your previous
Right.
batches have gotten through hordes in, you know, uh, Amarchand Mangaldas and AZB and Trilegal and Luthras, and I've done internships in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a natural thing that this is what you think, that this is what you think you want, right? So
Right.
that's what when I meet law students now, Because I offer mentorship, so I arrange some calls with them, and they say that, this is what I want to do, and I'm like, do you know what it means to do this? Because I had no idea this is how it works, right? So I thought litigation is not for me, but I spent 3 years in a litigation law firm, and I appeared in court, and I donned the black robe and the white collar,
Right.
and I found it amazing, right? Because till you do it, you don't know what you want in life. So
Right.
I always tell people that don't close your mind to options. Like,
Hmm.
so I'll tell you what. Now I have realized that I really like mentoring and teaching, and I always did that. So I always had that, uh, you know, attitude where all the juniors, if they come to me, I'll go all out and help them. So I usually do that, and
Hmm.
here through my blog and through LinkedIn, especially, I really enjoy teaching. So see, I mean that's something I didn't know before. I didn't know about that myself. So
Right. Glad, ma'am, that you could discover it here only. So let's say about corporate and everything. Whenever you're doing internships, so because you've done, ma'am, a lot of internships and internships at a place like which everybody wants to do it at. So, what was your process of being an intern? Like, how did you think that what do you want to learn here? Or what did you always want to take from the internship? What was your process?
to be very honest, uh, in my internships, I mean, I had no plan. Of course, while going in, you think I'm going to work so hard that they'll be begging me to join them.
Right.
But when you go there and you sit in the library or in the interns room,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the phone to ring and somebody to give you work, it doesn't pan out like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, you and I remember I was interning in all the law firms in 2008. Again, recession, and
Mm-hmm.
I interned in a capital markets team. There was no work happening. What work will they give me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but what really helped me, and I think this is what an internship is about. It's not about learning the practical aspects of law, because in a 2 month internship or 1 month internship,
Right.
you don't learn. This is not possible
Right.
for you to learn and for you to teach. It
Mm-hmm.
comes when you work, you make mistakes, you learn from them, you fall, you get up, you learn. That's the learning that happens, once you are working. So what helped was, it gave me an idea. It gave me a, a flavor of the life, So
Mm-hmm.
this is what happens, this is what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to stay in a different city. I mean, that's what happened with me, and that life lesson was life changing. Staying. I have not stayed out of Calcutta before I did. I'm from Calcutta, and I went to NUJ, which is in Calcutta.
Mm-hmm.
I was in hostel, but that's it. Like, so when I first went to Delhi for my Supreme Court internship
Right.
under Dipankar Gupta, that was the first time I stayed out of home. Next year, I went to Delhi to do an internship in Luthra,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, that summer was the worst.
Oh,
Not
wow.
because of my internship in Luthra, but I mean, that's a story. That's a story, a hair curling story that I faced, and uh, I was staying in a PG, women's PG in Patel Nagar. I
Right.
don't know if somebody's not from Delhi,
I
they won't
am.
get
I
it.
know. Right.
East Patel Nagar,
Right.
and I paid advance. It was, I remember, 7,000 bucks per month without food,
Oh, okay.
and I was given a small room in the terrace, which is usually, I think, servants' quarter.
Or the
So yeah,
storeroom.
or the storeroom. Yeah,
Right.
one small room, one bathroom beside it, and that's it. And no food. Huh? So I had to figure out my food.
Right.
Uh, I have nowhere to cook, right? I mean, it's a PG. There is a kitchen for me to cook also, and I was never a cook, so
Mm-hmm.
it was so, I mean, that the growing up I did, and then a lot of things happened there. My stuff got stolen. uh,
God.
I yeah, my suitcase. So I spent one night with a friend, and I came back the next day to see the lock broken and my suitcase not there.
Wow.
I and I felt like crying, and I think I cried because I was to leave for Bombay for my trilingual internship the next day, and
Mm-hmm.
my train ticket was in that suitcase and everything else, and I had clothes, I had everything in that suitcase, and
Right,
I
exactly.
had nothing. So if I lose that suitcase, I lose everything, and I lose money because some bit of money was there, like clothes, office clothes. You buy a wardrobe because you're going for internship, and
Right.
they all oh boy, that was one harrowing. So you know, I think internships, it's not so much about the work that you do, but also about you talk to people in office setting. You learn how to interact with colleagues. You learn how to interact with seniors. You learn so many things, right? You learn living on your own, and those lessons are valuable lessons. It's not law to aa jayega. There's no big deal about learning law, okay?
Right.
But the experience and all these, they really help you mature as an individual. They help you evolve as an individual, and those lessons are matchless. I think
Right.
one needs to go through that to be very honest.
Right. So, ma'am, since we're approaching almost the end of the show, so my last question for you will be, do you think that it's like what reward do you get from having a social media presence?
Social media meaning which social media?
Like you have your own, basically creating your presence online on any social media like LinkedIn, or you have your own blog and everything. So, what is the reward that you get, or why do you do it?
Why do I do it? Okay. So, I mean, honestly, I was there on LinkedIn before, but I wasn't posting so much because,
Mm,
again, no time. That's the thing we tell ourselves, right? Uh,
right.
I, to be very honest, I started posting on LinkedIn more because I wanted to promote my blog and I wanted more people to come and read it. So it started with that, but then I realized I'm making a difference. When I write something which resonates with people, like you said, you really like that post about my daughter, and
Right.
I recently wrote a post about going to office for the first time and how it has changed, and people are really liking that. And there's another post where I talked about how marks is not important in life, and so many people commented on it. So I like having this conversation, and because
Right.
I like to talk to people, this is my way of talking to people. And uh, it's I like the sense of community. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've also come in touch with a lot of international lawyers through my LinkedIn activity,
Wow.
and so they're so kind enough to recommend me to other people. So people when they ask which lawyer should I follow, recently somebody recommended me, and I was flabbergasted.
Right.
So clearly they really like. So in my connections I have some international lawyers, and when they post, it's such a wide variety of stuff that they talk about, right? So it's very different from what you go through, and you learn so much. So
Right.
that's where it comes, right? It's like, I feel if you're not there online and you are not interacting with people,
Mm-hmm.
you tend to remain in your own bubble, which is
Mm.
not good
Right.
at all. Okay.
Right.
And see, my blog, as I said, it's a passion project. So because I'm blogging, I kind of felt the need to go out and the social media more. Otherwise, I mean, in my personal life, I used to be a very avid social media user, but not anymore because I've kind of, as I said, time is gold. Cut down from places where you
Right.
don't. So yeah, but for my blog, I have tend to go out, and but I've realized that I like the fact that people get in touch with me, people speak with me. I get to like you got in touch with me, right? And we spoke, we had such a long conversation.
Right.
So yeah, these are the rewards of having an online presence. If you ask me if a law student should have an online presence or not, Yes. It's online presence for a law student or any lawyer. I feel is like a personal branding.
Mm.
People know you apart from your other identities. People know you as an individual, and that's what personal branding is. You create a brand about yourself,
Mhm.
which in future might help you, right? When you are supposed looking for a job, and somebody might say, "Oh, I know this girl. She does the log years YouTube channel. I really like her interviews. Okay, let's call her. Let's have an interview." You never know what clicks where, right?
Right.
I'm not talking about in YouTube channel. It's about. So I'll tell you something. Uh, 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 I have noticed this that law students uh, they are trying to, of course, network, and one way of networking is engage on other people's posts. So
Right.
people come and post comments. Uh, but I can make out when a comment is not a genuine comment. Like a comment has been made only to
With the
engage.
intention of engaging. Right.
I can make out. I'm sure everybody can make out.
Right.
So
Of course.
you know, one has to be genuine in their engagement. You can't have an agenda in the back of your mind. It then
Right.
it comes out.
Mm.
Even when law students post, uh, it comes out. It's so there's this whole set of things, which is that set in stone. In LinkedIn, do this, do that, do this, so you get more likes and comments, and people do that. I have done this, so if you're interested, please put in a comment interested, and then 1,000 people was interested, and
Right.
oh, that's then what, you go sit and send emails to all of them? I mean,
Right.
that's so not required, right? It's very evident that you're doing it for getting likes and comments. So don't do those kind of activities. It doesn't add anything. Like, you
Right.
might get an engagement, but people, professionals who want to network, they can see what you're doing.
Mhm.
And the other thing I have noticed is that they drop in the DM and ask questions
Right.
like, "Can I get an internship in ITC?" And I said, I'm not the authority to give internships, okay?
Right.
If only you had kind of spent some time on. Some people say, "I want to work in under you." How can you work under me? I work in a company, and there's processes, right?
Right.
I'm sending my CV, so I'm applying for a job, and my point is, people have to do homework. They have to research on their own, okay?
Right.
You can't come up just because I am there and I am active, visibly active. You can't come and ask me, drop in and ask me all questions, right?
Right. Mm.
I respond to DMs, but now I have seen this pattern, and I don't respond to these DMs. I only
Right.
respond to a genuine question. If you may have a genuine question to ask me, I will, of course, always 100% respond to it.
Right.
So that's so online presence is great, but don't do things for the sake of doing it, and don't do things which everybody else is doing. So
Right.
many law students are writing blogs. They have their own blog. So many law students are coming up with some kind of society or something or like that, or they're doing YouTube channels and all that. So have to know you have to come up with something unique, right? Like I did. So there are so many legal blogs. So what did I do? I brought in a unique angle.
Mm.
I'm
Right.
sure. Why isn't somebody doing a podcast? It's the next in thing, right? There's so much scope for podcasts. Get into a podcast, do that, right? I mean, just do something new.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I feel is very necessary.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And so everybody here can find ma'am the 5thingschecklist.com in the description. And you guys please go and check it out and show some love. And please connect to ma'am on LinkedIn, and that will be given in the description too. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on the show. It's really fun to have you, and the conversation that we had, I learned so much today. Thank you so much.
Oh, I had fun too. Thank you so much, Muskan. It was great talking to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So see you next time. Thank you.
Sure. Bye bye.